You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty HealthShare and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? What a weekend. No, I don't care about the sports team scores. Have you ever heard me talk about sports on this show? Come on. You know what I'm talking about. What do you mean you don't get it? Okay, time out. Time out. Do you live under a rock? No, really. Do you keep the news turned off all weekend? Okay. I told you, I'm a news junkie. I can't stay away from the news, no matter what day of the week it is, what time of day. I don't have one news app. I have 30 on my phone. I am constantly checking in with what's going on in the world. I could be recording Coffee Shop, and I'll know if North Korea shoots something off. And I know that may sound just a little bit corny, but unfortunately, that's the way this cookie crumbles. Now, for those of you joining me for the first time here on Jessie's POV, you can interact with me live. I will be in the chat room at KLRNRadio.com in just a couple seconds. Just a little late getting logged in, but I'm headed there right now. I can't chat and create good audio clips. I promise. It's worth the wait. At least for a few minutes. There we go. I'm in the chat room. So, in any case, let's talk, you know the topic, North Korea. Yes. Yes, quackers. No, you didn't miss a missile launch. What you may or may not have heard of was the UN resolution that passed on the 5th. Today's the 7th, so that means it passed on a Saturday. Yes, the UN went to work on a Saturday. Now, that's not unusual, unheard of, but we all know how much bureaucrats like to work weekends. And Host Kitty's doing his usual rambunctious thing tonight, so you'll have to pardon the kitty bell dingling in the background every once in a while. he gets his right, as far as I'm concerned, to jingle around just a little bit. The resolution was harsh. And I mean very harsh. It was a resolution that literally will take a third of North Korea's economy and go, you might want to hold off on that. Because that can't be done anymore. No, I'm not kidding. I know it sounds like I might be making this one up. I promise you, that ain't the case. So, I'd originally said when I tweeted things out, I was going to do North Korea and Venezuela. I do have some show prep on Venezuela. If I finish North Korea, don't hold your breath that I will. Then we will talk North Korea. Then we will talk Venezuela. Otherwise, I will have to get to Venezuela another night. Because this was too big of a topic for me not to get all in the middle of. It truly was. You should have known, and you should know well by now, that I have a thing for the duck, or the lunatic in the north, whatever you want to call him. Now, before I get caught up and go off on a tirade, I have a couple of other announcements. Conversations in Science that was supposed to air earlier today, and you can check the station's Twitter feed at KLRNRadio, will evidently be following on my heels. Since the Stafford Voice, which normally comes on my heels, has now moved to Wednesday. Boy, we're just full of changes around here. We're just reshuffling the deck. Gives us one heck of a Wednesday night lineup, though. Wednesday night is Politibunny, and we've got Stafford and G, and then America Off the Rails. Come on, that's a one power-packed lineup. The other announcement I have, Jesse's Coffee Shop. If you didn't notice last Friday, it's back. What's Coffee Shop? Oh, it's my show about books and people who write them. It's my escape from talking about quackers. It's my escape from talking about Operation Inherent Resolve and ISIS or ISIL or Daesh or Al-Qaeda or any of that stuff. It's my mental break. And I figured if I was feeling the need to have one, my listeners might be too. So Friday nights, in my time slot, there will be a coffee shop. And I'm going to grab a few Monday evenings when there's no Conversations in Science, because I've had a flood of authors come on. Now that doesn't mean I don't get time for as many as I can fit on. Coffee shop is come one, come all. So if you wrote a book, you know someone who is an author, get them in touch with me. They can shoot me an email at the station, fill out a station contact form, or email me at jesse@klrnradio.com. No, it's not the same email address I give out at the end of this show, because I keep that one for my writers. If you want to talk North Korea with me, it's Jesse's POV at KLRNRadio.com. Yes, I check both. It's okay. I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. All right. Not a lot of show prep. You're going to hear it in just a second. I don't need it. We all know I can talk North Korea. Me talking North Korea is not news. But I've got some interesting clips. And we'll get to them all in just a few moments. But first, I want to recap what happened. North Korea launched not 1, 2 ICBMs in less than a month. And that's a pretty intense time frame. And now it's, will the sanctions hold? Well, they might. Am I holding my breath? No. Why? Well, here's the real simple fact. No other sanction has stopped Kim Jong-un. Some of the previous rulers of North Korea would back down after some sanctions and say, well, give us some rice and we'll stop at least for a while. At least that's how it came across. However, that doesn't seem to be the MO of Kim Jong-un. He is literally willing to starve his people to develop weapons of mass destruction. And there's a whole lot more that's been banned. You can't do anything with from North Korea now. Oh, yeah. They're taking this one pretty seriously. And as much as I'd love to be able... Now, I will say they did put a carve out for humanitarian aid. Will the sanctions hold? I don't know. Will China and Russia in particular enforce them? Couldn't tell you. Personally, I'm not sure if the sanctions weren't more talk than action. But the last thing I want to see is horrific on the Korean Peninsula. And if you need to be reminded of what unimaginable versus horrific is, well, we're going to go there. You know I've got this clip library pretty well stocked. Come on, you ought to know this by now. I just got to find the one I want. There's one. Where's the other one? Come on, I know it's in here. There it is. All right. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs tell you about unimaginable versus horrific.
Many people, and this is an important point, many people have talked about military options as with words like unimaginable. And I would probably shift that slightly and say it would be horrific. And there would be a loss of life unlike any we have experienced in our lifetimes. And I mean, anyone who's been alive since World War II has never seen the loss of life that could occur if there's a conflict on the Korean Peninsula. But as I've told my counterparts, both friend and foe, it is not unimaginable to have military options to respond to North Korean nuclear capability. What's unimaginable to me is allowing a capability that will allow a nuclear weapon to land in Denver, Colorado. That's unimaginable to me.
Well, Chairman Dunford, North Korea may have that capability, but you would know better than I do. And yes, you know I'm always on the lookout for such gems. So, where's the... On her way into the vote, United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley gave an informal comment to the press.
So Monday we said that the time for talking was over and it was time for action. Today you're going to see the action. It's going to hit hard, but it's going to make a strong point to North Korea that all of this ICBM and this nuclear irresponsibility has to stop.
And sorry about the audio buzz. There was nothing I could do. I tried several times to get rid of it. Now, let's remind people about the Korean guest worker.
When countries have North Korean guest workers, for example, and this is just one example, have North Korean guest workers working in that nation, we know that those guest workers do not take home 100% of the money they earn. Much of that money, in some instances, I understand all of that money, will not go to that individual doing the hard work, but rather goes back to the North Korean regime. What we are saying is countries cut your guest worker programs. We have seen some success with that in the past and in recent months as well.
All right, so the State Department wants countries to cut their guest worker program. Well, guess what? Now the United Nations is backing up the State Department, for whatever that is worth, my friend. Now, just remember the United Nations, and I will quote, I don't know where this quote came from, so I cannot attribute it. However, I have heard it said more than once about the United Nations. You can't spell unorganized, unprofessional without the UN, without UN. On that note, they do what they can with the resources they have. Remember, the United Nations does not have a standing army. The United Nations is made up of member states who primarily meet to discuss global issues. What they accomplish is always up for debate. Now, this is the vote, the way the vote was taken, and it was a show of hands. I can't show you the raised hands, but I will let you hear the voice of the translator, because I figured you wanted it in English, as the proceedings happened on the floor.
The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it.
By the way, there were some time gaps in here. I took them out. So we're going to start over so you understand that. That's why the whole thing looks like it takes place in 30 seconds. It was within a couple of minutes, but I took out the long gaps of silence.
The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2017/674 please raise their hand. The result of the voting is as follows. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2371 of 2017.
All right, so it was adopted unanimously. Now, I took the time to listen to the full hour of comments that came after the vote. Now, first I'm going to grace you with some of Nikki Haley's comments. And okay, let's take understanding here. I had to cut it. You don't have an hour and 10 minutes to listen to all of the comments, nor do you want to. That's why you listen to me.
Almost 1 week ago, I said the days of talking were over and it was time to act. Today, the full Security Council has come together to put the North Korean dictator on notice. And this time, the Council has matched its words and actions. The resolution we've passed is a strong, united step toward holding North Korea accountable for its behavior. Today, the Security Council increased the penalty of North Korea's ballistic missile activity to a whole new level. North Korea's irresponsible and careless acts have just proved to be quite costly to the regime. This resolution is the single largest economic sanctions package ever leveled against the North Korean regime. The price the North Korean leadership will pay for its continued nuclear and missile development will be the loss of 1/3 of its exports and hard currency. This is the most stringent set of sanctions on any country in a generation. These sanctions will cut deep, and in doing so will give the North Korean leadership a taste of the deprivation they have chosen to inflict on the North Korean people.
All right, I thought that was interesting. Now, I also want to play for you the recap the State Department did of some of Secretary Tillerson's remarks.
The Secretary said this here from this podium. He said, we want to first seek peaceful pressure on the regime in North Korea to have them develop a willingness to sit and talk with us and others, but with an understanding that a condition of those talks, there is no future where North Korea holds nuclear weapons or the ability to deliver those nuclear weapons to anyone in the region, much less in the homeland. He goes on then to say, and let me just finish this, we don't think having a dialogue where North Koreans come to the table assuming that they're going to maintain their nuclear weapons is productive. That's what the Secretary said. Susan Thornton and many of you joined us on that call with the Acting Assistant Secretary for East Asia Pacific said, we are seeking to exert pressure on the North Korean regime in order to change their calculus.
All right, so they definitely want to change North Korea's calculus. Before I go to the commercial break, I will leave you with one other comment by Tillerson himself.
The diplomatic and other efforts of the past 20 years to bring North Korea to a point of denuclearization have failed. So we have 20 years of failed approach.
20 years of failed approach of diplomatic efforts. I'm not liking where these pieces are landing, folks. I wish I was. And I pray I'm wrong. I pray every day that I don't know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I have become somewhat of an expert on the Hermit Kingdom. And a friend of mine today, and I'm going to cut to break in just a moment, asked me why it's called the Hermit Kingdom. And I'm going to explain this very simply. In North Korea, there is no outside news. The only news is provided by the state. If you have a cell phone that is not provided by the state, you could be executed. If you are caught watching a non-state-sponsored TV program, in other words, one not produced by the North Korean government, it is a capital offense. Yes, it is an execution-worthy offense to simply watch a television program for a that is not state-sponsored. This is what I call the Hermit Kingdom. It was probably the one country on the planet that didn't live through our elections. If you recall, the North Koreans on the street had never heard of Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. And on that thought, We are going to pay those radio station bills, and I will see you on the other side. Just as a reminder, you can always join me in the chat room at KLRNRadio/chat or email me at jessiecob@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government, so why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me. Yes, we had to pay those radio station bills. Now, as the vote was 15-0, China did vote with us. However, I've got part of what they said queued up, and I think I've got it in the right spot, but we're going to play a little bit of audio clip roulette. You guys know me. I'm 90% prepared 90% of the time.
This China-Russia joint initiative is realistic and feasible. It aims at tackling both the symptoms and root causes of the problem and seeking a solution through an integrated approach. We hope this initiative will get response and support.
This is the comments from the Chinese ambassador to the United Nations, or permanent representative, or whatever his official title is. Now, China and Russia did put forth a solution. One that I don't think the U.S. will take, but let's keep listening for just a moment.
From relevant parties. China has taken note that the United States has recently indicated once again that it is not seeking a regime change nor a regime collapse in the DPRK. And it is in no hurry to push for reunification of the peninsula, and that its troops will not push through the 38th parallel. It is our hope that the U.S. side will translate these four no's into concrete policies towards the DPRK. Beefing up military deployment on the peninsula is not in the interest of realizing denuclearization of the peninsula and maintaining regional peace and stability. The deployment of the THAAD system will not bring a solution to the issue of the DPRK's nuclear testing and missile launching. What it will do is to seriously undermine the strategic balance of the region, and as such is detrimental to the strategic security interest of regional countries, including China. China strongly urges parties concerned to halt the process of this deployment and dismantle relevant equipment. Realizing denuclearization and durable peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula is in the interest of all the parties. China urges the DPRK to respect the relevant Council resolutions and cease taking actions that might further escalate tension on the peninsula. We hope...
Okay. So that was China going, yeah, we'll support this. Are you kidding me? Do I think China's going to support it? Well, I'm not going to judge them by their words. I'm going to judge them by their actions. Actions speak a lot louder than words. In the past, they have either protected North Korea from the sanctions, or they voted for them and then looked the other way and were among the top violators or top unenforcing countries of UN sanctions. This says nothing of Iran, who, unless you are new to this show, you know that Iran has traded missile technology, nuclear technology with North Korea. When these two countries were the most sanctioned countries, most politically and economically isolated countries on the world. They were pushed together. Was that a good thing? I don't know, but I'm not inclined to say yes. But were the sanctions the wrong way to go? I'm not going to judge. I don't have enough to know how each one was put into place. Now the sanctions on Iran have been lifted. But the sanctions on North Korea are just ratcheting up. And it's horrific in my mind to think that either Iran, Russia, or China will go against these sanctions. Now, I've got some audio from Russia. Keep in mind, all of this stuff is the voice of translators because, well, I don't know about you folks. I don't speak Russian or Chinese. And I have a sneaky suspicion you don't either. So that's why I'm using the translations. Because if you look at the video, you'll see male speaking and hear a female voice. Well, my friends, that's just the way it sometimes works at the United Nations.
The Russian Federation supported the adoption of the Security Council Sanctions Resolution 2371.
All right, this is Russia's take on things.
Against the DPRK, we understand the need to halt Pyongyang's missile and nuclear program, which is unacceptable to us. We share the feeling of neighboring states in the region. The ballistic missiles, which were launched without warning from North Korea, pose a major risk to marine and air transit in the region, as well as to the lives of ordinary civilians. We call upon the North Korean government to end the banned programs and to return to the NPT non-proliferation regime and the IAEA oversights, as well as to join the Chemical Weapons Convention. All must understand that progress towards denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula will be difficult so long as the DPRK perceives a direct threat to its own security, for that is how the North Koreans view the military buildup in the region, which takes on the forms of frequent, wide-ranging exercises and maneuvers of the U.S. and allies as they deploy strategic bombers, naval forces, and aircraft carriers to the region. Another destabilizing factor in the region is the scaling up in North Korea of the THAAD, the U.S. anti-missile defense elements. We repeatedly noted not only this constitutes an irritant, but this also undermines the overall military balance in the region and calls into question the security of neighboring states.
Okay, so both Russia and China, while they voted for the resolutions, probably because they didn't feel they had the political capital at the UN to go against them. And because they wanted to look like the good guys, if anything happens, oh, well, we voted for the resolution. We did that much. It gives them a little bit of cover. That's why I'm saying they voted. But they all say, basically, U.S., go home and take that out.
Scaling up in North Korea of the THAAD, the U.S. anti-missile defense elements. We repeatedly noted not only this constitutes an irritant, but this also undermines the overall military balance in the region and calls into question the security of neighboring states.
All right. Time out. THAAD is a defensive weapon. I would like to get, and I'm working on this, an actual military expert on THAAD, on the air, on the record, and play some of these clips and get their opinion on them. I am working on this. This is not an easy task. It is not a quick task. I am trying to get someone from the THAAD unit to come on Jesse's POV. Now, you've heard bits and pieces about the sanctions. What were the sanctions? All right. The sanctions ban North Korean exports of coal, iron, iron ore, lead ore, seafood. They also prohibit countries from increasing numbers of North Korean workers employed outside the country. The sanctions also ban new joint ventures with North Korea and new investment in existing joint ventures. This will have an impact, a very big financial impact. There's no way to soften that. It will do something. Now, if you recall, I have brought up the fact that gas prices for the pampered pooches of Pyongyang, oh yes, just to live in Pyongyang is a gift. So, to get there, you've got to be on somebody's Christmas card list. We're not going to go into all that, but I do have a couple other clips you're going to hear before tonight is out. Yes, my show prep tonight was made up largely of clips because I wanted you to hear what the experts are saying. And I always prefer to get it in their own words with them telling you. Of course, the resolution was adopted in direct response to North Korea's firing of not one, but 2 ICBMs in the past month. Now, here is Admiral Harris, PACCOM commander, talking about Kim Jong-un. Now, this was between the 2 missile launches.
During his despotic regime, Kim Jong-un has tested more missiles than his father and grandfather combined. And he's on a record pace to conduct more tests in 2017 than in any other year. In fact, the July 4th ICBM launch by North Korea was its 10th ballistic missile test event this year. Yet another reminder that North Korea is not only the most immediate threat to our alliance, but also a clear and present danger to global peace and stability. Let me emphasize that word, global.
Now, there's one more comment Harris made that I just have to play.
While I don't know if those missiles can actually hit what they're aimed at, but like horseshoes and hand grenades, getting close is all that's needed when you're dealing with nuclear weapons.
I'm going to play that one again.
While I don't know if those missiles can actually hit what they're aimed at, but like horseshoes and hand grenades, getting close is all that's needed when you're dealing with nuclear weapons.
And I have other clips where they say in congressional committee hearings, well, they've got the range, but do they have the guidance system? Well, we don't know. They may not have to have the perfect guidance system, my friends, to wreak havoc. Yes, this guy. Kim Jong-un, KJU, Quackers, Lunatic of the North, pick your name for him, may soon have his finger on the button, on the launch button of a nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missile. And to me, there is only one target for that missile. Yes, there's only one place this would happen. Somewhere in the continental United States, possibly Washington, D.C. itself. Now, I've heard it said we've got defensive measures. Sure, I know that. I'm no slouch when it comes to kind of knowing what's going on. We can stop one missile. We can probably stop 2. Could they overwhelm the system? Could we stop 20, 30, even 10 or 15? If even one gets through, it's devastation. Now, I also have no doubt that the minute they launch something actually aimed at the United States, because NORAD does track these missiles. Let's just put it this way. It's on. I have almost no doubt of that. Because they tried to attack us. And we retain the right of self-defense. And I do not see us rolling over. Now, got a couple other things. I wish I had a humorous story for you tonight. Someone was just asking me. I don't. I do not have anything humorous. All right. I do have something I found interesting. And this is from the KCNA, the North Korean news organization. No sooner had the UN quote-unquote resolution been adopted than those of Chang Wade began letting out impudent remarks. It is important that a resolution was rapidly passed, and it's more significant that China and Russia agree to impose sanctions. Those of the South Korean Foreign Ministry asserted that the adoption of the recent sanctions resolution is of practical significance in blocking the DPRK's financial channel related to the development of its nuclear weapons, as it will reduce its foreign currency earnings and deal a considerable blow to it. Against this backdrop, the Foreign Ministry of North Korea, in a commentary of its spokesman, welcomed the above resolution, terming it a manifestation of the resolute will of the international community. But North Korea will never stop. North Korea has clarified its step, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. That was the South Korean Foreign Minister. I'm now talking North Korean. The DPRK has already clarified that its step for bolstering the nuclear force for self-defense is an entirely just one for tackling the ceaseless nuclear threats and blackmails from the U.S. and its ICBM tests. We're to send serious warning to the U.S. persisting in making absurd remarks after losing its temper. It also offered the South Korean regime an opportunity for repentance, reminding it of the fact that it will only lose everything if it persists in foolish acts of following in the footsteps of the conservative regime, faulting the DPRK's ICBM tests. Nevertheless, the puppet regime, aka South Korea here, folks, cried out for the imposing independent sanctions, disregarding the patience and magnanimity shown the DPRK, and unhesitatingly engaged in such risky gambling as to play the role of a shock brigade for the U.S. in its outrageous sanctions racket to pressurize the DPRK. So, they continue, and I'm skipping parts because we don't need all the rhetoric. We've got enough. It had better face up to the acute situation that group of crazy Trump is crying out and not ruling out a war, and think twice about the catastrophic calamity to be entailed by it. South Korea should not forget that it will completely lose the opportunity for dealing with the DPRK, and everything will end at once if it persistently resorts to stupid and reckless acts. The more South Korean authorities let out impudent and reckless remarks against the trend of the times, the dearer the price they will have to pay. All right, so North Korea is clearly not a happy camper, and they are on their usual rhetoric spin. And I have had my fill of Kim Jong-un, North Korea, and even of this. So, I do keep one story in reserve from time to time. And I'm working on pulling it up right now. I misplaced it. What can I say? Alright, folks, we're just going to make this short and sweet. I can't find the story. So, folks, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to clear your minds, relax, and wind down because Conversations in Science is hot on my heels. That's a new one to say. I know it's not a permanent change. It seems the drop didn't work quite right because there was a typo in it. So, just as a reminder, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can email me at the station, jessespov@klrnradio.com. Or if you want to be on Coffee Shop, yes, my show about books and the people who write them. It's Jesse@klrnradio.com. And on that note, my friends, I'm going to remind you of this.
For anyone going through any type of personal battle, whether it's cancer, PTSD, depression, a personal challenge that they want to do, they want to go climb Mount Everest, you need to stay in the fight. And when I say that, I mean mentally. If you're not mentally in the fight, if you don't stay in the fight, you can't win.
And on that note, I will see you all back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. and I'll try and have something besides North Korea on tap.